Yeah,
and they're both going to do Uncle strats for sure.
Uncle strats. All right, so we're going to see a tree pull probably. Well,
Gem proves me wrong, going to the Sanctuary first. Meanwhile, Ben does check out the Link's house. Nothing of worth in either check. I believe just a heart piece and +5 arrows.
And from the map check that Gem just did, it looks like we got 3 crystals in the light world, while desert is one of the pyramid fairy crystals.
Indeed, already kind of pulling us towards a faster sea with all 3 of those light world dungeons being crystals. Could still be a trolley sea depending on where items are, but ultimately with quicker dungeons means a quicker race.
Absolutely. So Uncle not really having anything of worth. Benteezy got some bombs, which is always a nice find early on in an open mode seed.
I didn't quite see what gem grabbed there as a scout in the Lumberjack Cave. Hopefully Benteezy checks it. And he's getting a map check as well. I think Benteezy might just leave off that check for now until he gets boots or a reason to go to Death Mountain.
Yeah, I've seen that more and more lately. People just foregoing the lumberjack, Jesus, I can't talk today. But these guys, because you'll need boots anyway to get it, even if you have to do AGA 1. So might as well delay that check a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like Ben is going kind of a hybrid route here. He is going to get the tree pull again for some more arrows, and he is going to get his Lost Woods check. Meanwhile, Gem is saving and quitting from Lost Woods. He's going to go south route to find some bombs. Now, a known fact for going into Kakariko without bombs is if you have the rupees, it pretty much burns 30 seconds of your time if you're going north to south to go to the shop first and then come back up. So that's why Gem is kind of saving and quitting here to get some bombs to kind of speed up the process.
Yeah, he might also be planning to save up for the bottle mender, because that's another thing you don't really want to leave behind if you can help it somehow.
Indeed, absolutely. It'd be a very unfortunate check to kind of leave behind, especially if you don't have a reason to go back to Kakariko anytime soon.
Alright, so we're getting our first blind hut check from Ben here while Gem is checking out the library. Ooh, the shovel on the library. And there's a book for Ben.
Yes, must be a gardener shed. And we also get a sword for Benteezy too. That's very nice early on.
Yeah, that is a very early sword. Even more bombs for Ben here, so pretty good so far. An interesting choice here by Gem to actually go and buy bombs. I mean, he did enter from the south side, but I was expecting him to bomb open the little hut and get the 4 guaranteed bombs.
I think he's doing it just in case he doesn't run into a sword here. But yeah, he does get some more bombs, unfortunately. So, yeah.
We do see the Moon Pearl in the very last chest of the well here for Benteezy, so that's another... Oh, and the lamp. Where did he get the lamp? I completely missed out on that.
It was a dam as well. Or dam, sorry, well.
Okay, so a pretty nice well today.
Yeah, so they almost have everything they need for Agnum. They need a cape or a master sword. Also, they almost have everything they need for full desert access. Just missing the gloves.
And possibly the boots.
Possibly the boots.
I think it's been quite a while since I've seen a non-boots locked desert, to be honest. But with how early they found the book, it might just lead them there immediately.
Definitely wouldn't be a bad play, just following the logic. Book will take them there. They could option to do Dam in Moldorm Cave first, looking for Glove, or maybe Boot, and then head over to Desert, or they can maybe just try their luck and do Escape in Eastern first. Especially with the early Lamp Sword combo, Escape looks really good right now.
And we're getting another bit of divergence here. Gem apparently hearing you, going right to the escape part, while Ben is heading down to the dam and the mini Moldom cave.
Almost in sync too, coming out of Link's house there. So once again, it's just kind of a testament of how strong these runners really are at this game.
More money and I think more bombs for Gem, while Ben gets nothing of importance out of the dam so far. Ben grabbing that piece of heart needs... Oh, well, that's a timely refill, actually, so not a bad choice.
Yeah, very early on, not a lot of safety so far, so why not grab that art piece? Gem's going to go into Escape. Meanwhile, Benteezy going to be checking the mini Moldorm Cave here for 5 items.
Yeah, definitely a good check. Sometimes you see runners start with this and then go to the dam, especially if they're planning to go to Desert afterwards, just going east to west. But we'll see what Ben decides to do after he's done in here.
It's getting a lot of value here. And silvers too, wow.
That is pretty good. Having the Ice Rod early on is always a nice find. One of the, or probably the item with the biggest troll potential, at least.
Right, so he also does get the blue tunic there and silvers. Meanwhile, Gem did get blue goo on the first chest of Escape.
Oh, and the hook shot in here, so it looks like both the decisions from our runners here paying off big time. Ben hot on his heels though, just a couple of rooms behind really. Not even behind in a way that I would say makes any difference right now, especially considering he's already checked the dam and the mini Moldom cave.
Oh, Gem actually setting up for the Death Warp here. I like this play.
Yeah, I think that's very good. You have a lamp and you can check out the whole rest of Escape.
Now, he hasn't found the key yet, so the sewer chest might be a key that unlocks 3 more chests, or it might be an item and stops his progression here. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on what he finds here, he'll be able to continue finishing up Escape, or he might have to save and quit out.
Yeah, just 10 arrows, so Gem's going to peace out. Let's see where he goes next. Meanwhile, Benteezy going to be setting up a similar Death Warp here, actually, and going to be...
This is my favorite strat in the whole game.
I was going to say, he's setting up for it. There it is.
So
Flag
good.
strats, everyone. So anytime you freeze a enemy and you throw them at another enemy, it basically does pot damage.
Yep, absolutely. And what better way to kill that ball and chain guy with a frozen green guard?
That was really, really clever. Good heads up, methodology to what items he had to make that as fast a fight as possible. I mean, it could have probably been faster with just Fighter Sword, but come on, you wouldn't have any close to the swag that had.
Yeah, and since he set up the Death Orb already, you're also pretty safe because you can throw that guy quite a distance. So he was in no danger of ever getting hit by that ball.
Alright, so we see Gem actually electing to go to Desert here. I really like this play because the early book in Kakariko kind of leads them there within the progression. They do have Sash Eastern available to him as well, but I think he's just going to hedge his bets and say, this is where we need to go.
Yeah, I'm liking this. I like the whole follow the breadcrumbs thing.
And meanwhile, we see Benteezy looks like he's heading on to Sash Cave. It'll be interesting to see if he goes into Eastern or not.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be sequence breaking since he has the lamp. The thing is, without the bow, he can obviously not finish it, so...
Oh. Did you see that item?
Oh no, I missed it. What was it?
It's the flippers.
Oh boy.
So that's going to open up Hobo, the Island Scout, the Waterfall Cave, Zora's Ledge, and Zora himself in the progression now.
Yeah, and Ben is picking up his first glove in the back of Sahasrar's hut, so again, both runners making decisions that are paying off in their own way.
This is actually a really good play for Ben here, turns out, for the gloves, because now he's going to be able to beat Desert all in one sequence, and it is a crystal dungeon. That is if Torch is not big key locked here.
Yeah, so far Gem can continue without the boot since he found a small key here, so he'll at least be able to check out the right side, but if he doesn't find the big key, there's a pretty good chance it's actually on the Torch. And by pretty good chance, I mean, if he doesn't find it here, it's guaranteed to be on the Torch. Oh, it looks like
it's on the Torch, so boots are going to be required this seed. So if Gem's following the logic here, and the book ultimately is leading him to the flippers, I would imagine he's going to check those flipper spots first, then before Sash and Eastern.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, the only quote-unquote upside for him is that he does not yet have enough money for Zora, though he might opt to check the Waterfall Ferry.
It's also going to make a great route for him, because he hasn't checked Moldorm Cave or the Ice Rock Cave yet.
Yeah, you can pretty much check all of those in one go. Grabbing his slippers and saving and quitting.
And I believe Chad is pointing out that Ben found the cape here in Eastern.
Oh boy, the cape. So, even though we do have a glove, we're still needing either a second glove or a hammer for Dark World access, so it still looks like Aga 1 for now.
Right, so if Aghanim is required for their Dark World entry, they're going to have a lot of places they can actually go to, because they do have access to flippers and the hookshot. So I'll actually be able to do what's called like the North Dark World Tour, the reverse tour. So they'll actually go from the Pyramid north up, hang on west, head over to Skull Thieves, and then swing on back down towards Hype Cave and Swamp. That is if they don't find the hammer or Titan Mitts first.
Oh, and are we getting an Ice Rod Cave check from Gem here?
We are.
Looks like despite finding the gloves in Sahasrar's hut, Eastern Palace was kind of a bust for Ben. Just a heart piece and 2 red rupees, I believe. Well, and the cape, I suppose.
That's also going to allow Ben to check the back 3 chests of Escape now. And he's going to have East Death Mountain access. So they have a lot of plays open to him right now.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of places to check for them with all the stuff that they have available now. So even though it looks like an AGA 1 seed right now, I wouldn't be surprised to find something real useful here soon.
Alright, just a shield in the 3 back chests and Escape. Meanwhile, I believe Gem just found 20 rupees in Ice Rock Cave. So it's an interesting conundrum for our racer, specifically Ben right now, because he does have the cape, is he has Aghanim access, but he has so many locations now to check. He hasn't been to Desert yet. He's actually electing to go to East Death Mountain first. And maybe he's going to check the Lumberjacks now as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gem is picking up his Master Sword, so that is AGA 1 access for him now, despite not finding the cape yet.
And just says that, sees that blue boomerang and says, no thanks. Alright, Lumberjack is 20 rupees.
Okay, so Gem is making the right choice here. Maybe? Where is he going? Is he checking Hobo? Okay, he's checking Hobo. I thought he was going up to Sahasrah's hut. Just a hard container from Hobo, so the flipper's really not... Well, I guess for the Master Sword it was a nice find, but other than that, the flipper's kind of disappointing so far.
Right, the Master Sword is a great find early on, but like you mentioned, quite disappointing because it's still not leading to progression. I should add on to what I was alluding to earlier with the conundrum these racers have is when do they make that play to Aghanim, or do they commit to full clearing Light World before they do so?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting choice to have, and you know, every runner kind of approaches it a bit differently. Most runners will try to avoid AGA 1 as much as they can, from what I've experienced at least.
It's definitely a risk and reward situation because there's just so many options right now, and it's awfully time consuming as well. I mean, the 8 chests in East Death Mountain and the Desert Blaze are definitely worth and valuable, but if they don't have anything, then that's like a good 10 minutes they're committing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Gem is making a good decision here, unknown to him obviously, but he doesn't decide to dip into Eastern Palace, so that'll save him some time.
And interesting to know as well, I do not believe we've checked Sick Kid yet because we got the bottles outside of Kakriko.
Yeah, I don't think any of our runners have been there yet. Ben just picking up his second bottle with a fairy in it. Ben finds a whole lot of money, but other than that, it's still looking like an AGA 1 seed.
That might give Ben an advantage here because that might lead him to Zora.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's only 50 bucks short right now. Nice and even 450.
All right, and we see Gem electing to make a similar play here and is going to check out East Death Mountain as well.
Yeah, as you were saying earlier, there's so many chests and things, locations to check up here. It's definitely a good choice. We're getting the slow and annoying walk through Spiral Cave from Ben here. Never a fun.
Yeah, it's about a 45-second trek through the cave without boots. Definitely tons of fun. And Gem is doing their good deed of the day and escorting the old man, to his hut.
Barely $20 for that dangerous escort mission here. Okay, so it looks like Ben is now making his trek to desert, which will net him the boots, the flippers, something else that goes on your feet.
All right, so I believe at this point the two locations we haven't seen in Light World are the King of Zoras himself and that sick kid check. And Ben is going to farm for rupees. Okay, so he is going to check Zora.
Yeah, I'm liking this. He might not even want to go into desert, he just wants those 500 rupees and then start the fake flipper in. Yeah, okay.
He's
Looks
going to go
like
in.
He'll probably be very happy about those flippers on the ledge.
Yeah, he's going to say that. He's going to see that and say, oh, great play.
No, Gem grabbing all the money. Probably a little bit annoyed with that, considering he was already up at the Zora area.
Yep, Gem does as well have access to Zora now with the 500 rupees. I don't think Gem's going to go back. I think Gem might just elect to go to Aghanim 1 now.
Yeah,
After
I wouldn't really blame him. He's going to check out what's on the floating island here, just a piece of art. And he's also going to make the very slow trek through the spiral cave. And yeah, unless he really wants to spend the time to go all the way back to Zora, he might just opt to go straight to Aga 1.
Right, it's not just Zora either. I mean, it's quite the trek to go all the way back to Eastern Palace now, too, and only for a cape. Unbeknownst to him, not very worth at this point with that Master Sword.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what he decides to do now because, as we said earlier, runners really try to dodge that Aga 1 play if they can. Oh, he's starting that Sanctuary, okay.
Sick kid.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be the sick kid check. Probably really the only option left for Jim right now that won't cost him a ton of time. Oh, he's also checking the bottle vendor, okay.
Just a piece of heart.
Yep, nothing that we really need right now. So I think this is going to be the Aga play for Jim.
It is.
Yeah, grabbing those hearts to fill up to get ready for the tower ascent. And it looks like Ben might be right behind him. He might opt to check the Zora area first. Yeah, looks like he's going right there.
Yeah, you definitely can't blame him, especially with the 500 rupees now to be able to check Zora. He doesn't know he's going to have that potentially advantageous check. But Gem's going to cut his losses now and is going to head right to Aghanim. Benteezy, of course, has checked Eastern Palace, so that could be why he's a little bit behind from Gem right now. But it's honestly, it's kind of a not really anyone's really ahead or behind at this moment in the race. Very early on.
Yeah, it really is kind of a toss-up right now, considering that Ben already knows what Eastern holds, and Gem has already checked the Waterfall Ferry. And it looks like Ben is also opting to check the Ice Rod Cave, doesn't want to leave any areas that he can reach unchecked here.
Absolutely not. It is quite a bit faster to swim rather than walk to Ice Rod Cave, so I can see why he wanted to put it off for some kind of speed tech to get there. So with Aghanim looming here, he wants to make sure that he doesn't have to commit to the 4-minute climb.
Gem putting those sword beams to good use. Just as I say that, he gets it.
That's okay. Who needs sword beams anyways?
Yeah, most of the time they're kind of annoying and you want to get rid of them, but it's nice to see them put to good use at least every once in a while.
Gem actually using some nice tech there with the hook shot, hook-shotting the key across the barrier so he didn't have to pick up pots and walk all the way over.
Yeah, the skill of these runners is really showing through here. Just those little tiny things that you don't normally even notice. It's all a little bit of a time save every time.
Alright, so as Gem approaches Aghanim's chambers, we're going to see what Zora is. This is exciting.
Yeah, if Sora has the hammer for us, Ben is definitely in an advantageous position here.
Alright, so what is the King of the Zoras going to have for us today? Aww. Just a heart container.
Alright, so Aga 1 confirmed, I would say.
Yeah, that's everything. He's actually going to check out Sick Kid as well now. Can't fault him for this either.
Yeah, you don't want to leave that one location behind and go to Aga 1, and then in the end it turns out Sick Kid had the hammer or something super important. The thing is here, right now, this puts Gem ahead a little bit because he made it to Aga 1 first, but depending on where the rest of the items are, let's put it like this. But I don't think it's unreasonable to say that Gem will eventually check out Zora himself.
Right, he might elect to go there sometime when he can do something like Quick Fish for sure.
So the time loss that Benteezy has currently accrued is really only borrowed time for Gem.
Right, the best way to look at it in this situation is we don't know if Gem's going to spend that time that he just accrued checking Eastern Zora down the road.
Alright, so Gem makes it into the Dark World as the first runner. Also didn't have quite the pleasurable Aga 1 fight, I would say. I think 6 blue balls is what Jack counted.
Yeah, a little bit of a long fight there. I did see Fat Fairy Crystal 6, I believe, for Skull.
Yeah, and I think Turtle Rock was green pendant, and Swamp and Ice were red and blue, respectively, I believe.
You'd be correct.
So those are some nice pendant dungeons if this was a logic where you wouldn't constantly have to dip into pendant dungeons for important items. And of course, I also have to mention that definitely, of course, Turtle Rock has to be a pendant if you find the Ice Rod early.
As is tradition.
Yep.
Alright, so Jem gonna make his way over what appears to be Skull first, and meanwhile Benteezy will be finishing his climb to Aga Tower about halfway through his run right now.
Yeah, let's see if Skullwoods can keep up its tradition of holding an item. I think it got nerfed a tiny little bit in 27.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of keys early on.
Yeah, though finding an early key in here, especially with where he entered, is nice since you get to skip the trap room, and there's the Tempered Sword.
Great item to find early, but I wouldn't imagine Benteezy won't find that as well. I would imagine he routes north as well to start his Dark World run.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. A lot of runners opting to check Skullwoods first. It's a reasonably quick check, I would say.
It also could be because they don't have the hammer yet for thieves.
Yeah, that's always another thing to keep in mind. If you have to leave an item behind in thieves because you don't have the hammer yet, that's a bad feeling.
Oh, and there's the big key.
That's annoying. Just walk past the big chest a couple times, but at least it's pretty quick to get back there.
It's actually not going to be too bad, just because now he's already going back down towards thieves anyways, so he's going to be able to check out that big chest along the way.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, get used to seeing that for Gem, by the way. Extremely quick bomb setups for his jumps.
Yeah, this guy is a bump jump master.
I was actually watching his warm-up before we started going live, and he was setting up like really quick Ice Palace bomb jump strats, so I hope we get to see that.
Yeah, sadly it's a pendant, but as we mentioned earlier, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Alright, so Gem gets a couple of errors in C-shape house. Meanwhile, Benteezy's starting to tilt with all those blue balls that Aghanim serving up. He does not look happy.
Nope, he is definitely not happy about this.
Yeah, he's giving him a piece of his mind, and he's gonna be even more disappointed when he sees that pyramid ledge. Oh, we do see. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Gem grabbing the Bombos medallion out of that bombable hut here in Village of Outcasts, and does dip into Thieves Town.
Interesting. Did Gem check Quakefish when he did when he went north from Pyramid?
No, I think he went immediately west, so this could be big for Ben.
It could. I wonder if he's going to dip into Pod now too, as well, to follow up. I mean, he'll be right there for north, but if he wants to follow up on this check, then he could definitely swing right into Pod to make a play.
Now we'll have to decide. We'll have to see what he decides to do. Man, talking is hard. Also, not to forget, Gem picking up his second medallion immediately after picking up the first one, so he's now 66.6% into Mire and Turtle Rock if he needs to.
Oh, Chad actually pointing out for us that Benteezy is in fact a little poor right now and will not have the rupees for Kiki's very expensive entrance.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point. Didn't even pay attention to his rupee count.
I'd actually be a little remiss if I didn't admit that I've made that walk of shame up there without my my 110 rupees that I needed.
Yeah, I think it happens to the best of us every now and again. Gem here having a little trouble getting through that hellway that we have in Thief's Town, down to 2.5 hearts, but he does have a blue goo and fairy in a bottle if I recall correctly, so he's not really in any danger.
And now he has that powder.
Oh, even better, more safeties.
All right, so Benteezy is in fact going to check out Skull first. He's actually going to check out the second portion of Skull first. This is actually a pretty crisp play here because he knows he's going to work his way back down towards Thieves. So he's working bottom down. That's going to work to his advantage with the big key being in that chest.
Yeah, I mean, that's really going to work out well for him, as you say, with that big key up there. He's going to save a couple seconds over Gem. Oh, it looks like Gem was counting items here, so he's not even opening any more chests.
Yeah, I do believe he has all 4 now. He does not have the small key as well, and that small key would be in Blind Cell.
So far, Gem giving us a picture book blind fight here. The only boss where his tempered sword won't be any help.
Very nice blind fight, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Perhaps his first crystal.
Indeed it is.
So Gem is now going to make his way down to the digging game, probably over to Stump Kid, and maybe even make his way all the way over to Hype Cave.
Yeah, it's pretty much a gated route right now that these the runners are going to have to take, just because they don't have either Titans or the Hammer to kind of allow for, you know, more meticulous routing styles and choices. They're pretty much being forced to do a south road at this point.
And there's a third bottle, so only one bottle missing. Just an arrow upgrade from Sick Kid.
Alright, so it's basically going to be Hype Cave or Pod at this point.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if Hype Cave doesn't hold anything good for us, we are kind of stuck.
Alright, let's see what it has. Fourth bottle. There's the hammer. Okay, there we go.
Alright. So there's our progression item that we were looking for.
Yes, indeed. Hammer's going to open up a couple of locations. Gem's going to elect to go to the place I was going to first mention, which was Hera.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a good choice. I was kind of thinking maybe he'll go straight up from Hype Cave and make his way into Pod. But without the bow, he might be locked out immediately, and then it turns out it was just a big waste of time.
Right, and with the book in tow as well now, he's going to have the 2 items in Hera, the 1 item at Ether Tablet, and if he really wants to, he'll be able to get the 1 item in Spike Cave as well for 4 items total.
Yeah, with a fairy, a red goo, and a blue goo, he's definitely set for the Spike Cave.
And we do know what's in logic because Benteezy did find the cape in Eastern Palace. Gem, of course, has not been to Eastern Palace just quite yet.
Alright, let's see what our first tablet has for us today.
Oh, there they are.
Those are some boots.
Every rando runner's favorite item has been found. Ether Tablet, actually quite early, being 42 minutes in the newer logic, so that's quite nice.
Yeah, this is a really nice find.
So that's going to open up the rest of the desert and the Bonk Rocks right now. So we're finally starting to open up on our routing a little bit. They're going to have some more options impacting them.
Yeah, slowly but surely they're finding the items that they need to progress further into the seed. We'll see what Hera holds for us. So far, the basement not required to get the bit key, but it might still hold an item. Alright, so a heart container in Tower of Hera. So it's the second item is either on Troll Dorm or it will be in the basement.
If it's a V25 plus seed, it's going to be in the basement for the second item.
All the trolls.
Just assume the worst every time, and you're probably going to be right.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. And it is. And yeah, as Chad is pointing out, Benteezy giving us an equally awesome blind fight here. Gets him down no problem at all.
Yeah, these runners are definitely putting on a show for us right here this afternoon.
Alright, so we are getting to the first spot in the seed where Tear usually takes a little bathroom break.
There you go.
The second spot, in case anyone cares, being the Swag Duck theme when he activates his flute.
Oh, very smart by Gem here. Dishing out the fairy because he will be setting up for a death warp without that mirror, so he has to release the fairy or else it would save him and just elongate the process.
Yeah, very good thinking. We've seen quite a number of runners set up death warps and then grab either a piece of heart that randomly refills them or forget about that fairy that they have. And just a shield upgrade. Though I personally feel like the fire shield is greatly underappreciated.
Alright, Gem is gonna, in fact, go ahead and check out Spike Cave here. Why not? So he does...
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, he does in fact not have a safety such as Blue Cane or Cape, but because of how many bottles he has, he's going to be able to make this trek no problem.
Yeah, red goo and a blue goo in hand. Not in any danger whatsoever. Well, Ben is picking up his hammer. Let's see where he decides to go. He's not saving and quitting, so he might opt for that pot check.
I do believe he's going to make the play. Just that single arrow in the bonk rocks there for Gem.
Getting a quick rage pull on that chest. Not too long, you don't want to waste too much time, but, you know.
So now he's actually going to go check out Magic Bat. I actually forgot about this check being activated with the hammers now, so this is a really smart play.
Yeah, I think this could turn out well. He might make his way down to desert after this. Though he's not really in any hurry to finish that up, I think.
Nice powder dash there too.
Just a blue rupee.
So there was a shovel on that library bookshelf, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So either Gem's forgotten about it or is he electing to leave it behind for now, but he is going right back to desert to complete that now. Meanwhile, and sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say what you were going to say, so go ahead.
Meanwhile, Benteezy bow-locked in pod, getting the 20 rupees, which is actually good for him because it's going to lead him to boots. Yeah,
worked out quite nicely for him. At least it's open for the future now. Loses a little bit of time walking over there and everything, but nothing that he can't overcome. Afrohawk in chat saying, man, 50 minutes and still no mirror. Since Swamp Palace is a pendant, we might not even see a mirror this seed.
It's very common to run in racers' heads that they do not want to see items that kind of allow them to check dungeons that are pendant dungeons. So they're probably going to want to try to avoid that mirror as long as they can.
Just a compass and a big chest of desert, so I think Landmolus holds an item?
Indeed they will. So So at this point, it would either be a fetch quest in the mushroom or one of the 3 progressive items remaining that will give these gents some progression in the seed. Although we have not seen what the shovel spot has yet.
Yeah, as you were mentioning earlier, I certainly hope that Gem didn't forget about that shovel. I don't blame him for not wanting to get it, but it might just hold that item that he's looking for. Alright, so Ben is gonna grab his boots and then make his way into Tower of Hera and finish that up.
He's gonna be so happy.
Yeah, I know Ben is probably one of the most vocal runners about how much he hates light boots and all these seeds. Some very nice ice rod strats on Land Molas here from Gem.
Yeah, I personally know that Benteezy is a big advocate of boots for seeds that can get customly generated now with V27.
Jam grabs the fire rod from Land Mola, so that will open up Skull Woods, which he's been to already, but still.
Skullwoods is Fat Fairy, so that's going to open up that check afterwards. I believe they've gotten both items in Skull. I could be wrong, but it's also going to open up that as well now.
Yeah, I believe they do have both of the items. The first one was the Tempered Sword, and the Fire Rod was the second one, if I'm not completely crazy. And really, with only, quote-unquote, the Fire Rod dropping, it kind of railroads them into Skull Woods and then the Fat Fairy, I would say.
Yeah, it is still quite a linear seed. I mean, it's taking him from one spot of the map to the other, and it hasn't let go yet.
Yeah, and really, Gem making all the right decisions by not dipping into the dungeons that he can't check. Oh, and we're even getting a pedestal check here.
I think at this point, only Bo can be there.
Yeah, I think anything else is a lock by pendant. And just more rupees.
Well, the flute as well, I believe, sorry.
Oh yeah, of course. Can't forget about our Swag Duck. So Ben finishes up Troll Dorm here without any problems, also going back for the chest in the basement. And yeah, as chat is pointing out, we're definitely not out of troll territory yet, but it's gone pretty well so far, I'd say.
So Benteezy actually does not have to sub for his Death Warp here because he already has done Spike Cave first, so he has no reason to remain in Death Mountain that he's aware of after this chest.
Okay, so Jam dropping into his Mafiola fight with the Tempered Sword. A pretty okay fight. You know, not counting all the trolly stuff that Mothula can do, but as I'm talking, he's already defeated it.
There's the item, the Titan Mitts.
Alright, Titan's Mitts for Gem. That opens up a whole bunch of other stuff.
So don't blink, but we finally might have some semblance of route diversions now. So that Titan Mitt is going to actually unlock Dark World Death Mountain, which is where Gem is actually going to head to right now. It's also going to open up Ice Palace.
Oh yeah, with Bombos and Fire Rod in hand, definitely a possibility.
And it definitely will eventually open up Mire, but they need the flute for that as well. Oh, and I think Benteezy is going to grab that shovel.
Yeah, looks like it. He's not saving and quitting out of the bat, so looks like he wants to walk down there. Very nice hook shot clip here from Gem, getting to that Super Bunny cave, or the 2 chests in the Super Bunny cave, I should say. Okay, let's see what Ben can dig up here.
Just an arrow upgrade.
That was quite disappointing.
I didn't quite see on Gem's side. Was that Ether for T-Rock?
I think it was Bombos. Hookshot Cave and providing nothing but even more rupees. I'm wondering if King Zora is still on Gem's mind.
I actually wonder where he's going right now.
I'm gonna assume he's gonna grab that big bomb and walk right up to the
Oh,
pyramid.
you're right.
If only he had the mirror, he could use the AGO1 shortcut. Oh, what a very nice damage boost to make it possible for you to dash with the bomb and Tau. Uh-oh. Yeah, looking back at what these guys have done so far, everything Jam has opted not to do has worked out perfectly for him. He decided not to dip into Eastern, only missed out on a cape. He decided not to grab the shovel, which he might have forgotten about, but also just an arrow upgrade.
Speaking of trolls, there's the mushroom.
Yeah, gotta have some fetch quest. If you're gonna skip the shovel, you'll have to at least check the mushroom.
And Gem's gonna elect to check that right away. Can't blame him.
Yeah, probably gonna stop at the King's Tomb first and then make his way over to the Witch's Hut. Yet more money. Ben, meanwhile, on his way to land Molas and eventually his Fire Rod, so he'll be very happy to see that. He'll also be railroaded back into Skull Woods to finish that up, grabbing his Titan's Mitts. Alright, Witch, what you got?
Just some lunch money.
Yeah, Gem saying, alright, I've got enough rupees already. Leave me alone with that. And now Gem is starting to ponder. We see that he paused on his spawn location text box for a little bit, just trying to think where he should go next.
He's going back for the shovel.
It certainly looks like it. Oh, maybe not.
Or not.
Is he gonna check the Quakefish, maybe?
Because he has Titans. He's going to do Purple Chest and Smiths now.
Oh,
Or he'll
yeah,
take the Smith along for a walk.
I'm gonna be able to check the Pet Cave, too. Yeah, pretty good play, I'd say. With what limited options he has left.
And just trying to prolong a dip to a Pendant Ice Palace if he can. Oh, nice call there. Getting that red cane from the hammer pegs.
Oh, that's a very good thing to find, even though it might be a little scary because not only can he do Pendant Ice Palace now, he can now also dip into Pendant Turtle Rock.
I would imagine he's going to go to a Pendant T-Rock first, just because there's so many more items available to him.
Yeah, and since he already has the Hookshot, the Fire Rod, pretty much everything he needs for Turtle Rock, save for an invulnerability item. Well, Blacksmith's kind of disappointing. Pay $10 to get 20 back. I mean, I probably wouldn't say no to that if someone offered that to me, but not in a rando.
No, and Gem now electing to get the shovel. Okay, here we go. Meanwhile, Benteezy executing his moth fight quite well as well. Gonna be happy to see those Titan mitts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see if he also decides to check the Big Bomb first, or if he's just gonna say, well, I have the mitts now, I've got the Fire Rod just a while ago, might as well make my way up into Ice Palace.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for the Fat Fairy play as well. Meanwhile, Gem ascending Death Mountain once again. We know exactly where they're going.
Yep, there's nothing left here except for Turtle Rock.
Yes, that's 5 items in Turtle Rock, plus the Mimic Cave means 6, plus a green pendant for these 7 items that he's going to essentially get from this trip.
Yeah, despite being a pendant dungeon, absolutely worth it, I would say. Oh yeah, and as Chad is pointing out, we don't have a mirror, so that Mimic Cave check might be a little harder than usually.
I mean, they're not wrong, so might be a little difficult.
Look, guys, we're just seeing into the future that Gem is going to pick up the mirror in here, so he'll be able to check it, alright? Just bear with us.
You know, last race I commentated where I made that mistake, they actually did find mirror in T-Rock, so we'll have to wait and see.
Ben, now grabbing his mushroom, is probably going to turn that in pretty quickly as well. Oh, no, he's actually up here on Death Mountain. Has he not checked East Dark World Death Mountain yet?
He hasn't done Death Mountain yet, no.
Oh.
Sorry for Dark World, but he has done the East Death Mountain. And like we've mentioned, other than the play to Pod and Eastern for Benteezy, these two runners have basically routed almost the same.
Yeah, there really hasn't been too much of a divergence here. I mean, no thanks to the seed as well, but these guys just know their routing.
That's just classic play the percentages, it seems. But also the seed has a big hand to play in this as well, kind of gating them for a while until those tight mitts were finally found.
So Ben just opening up Turtle Rock so he doesn't have to do it later. Can obviously not get anywhere until he finds his Cane of Samaria. Gonna go right back to the Hookshot Cave. Oh, interesting. He hasn't even checked these chests yet.
Chad is asking what was on the pedestal and if they've checked it. Yes, we have, and it was a rupee hoard. All right, so Benteezy is gonna get his pedestal checked now, looks like.
Yeah, can't blame him. I mean, you kind of want to know what's happening up there.
Oh, and he's going to stay. It looked like he was going to save and quit, but it looks like he's going to stay probably to pop back in the Dark World and hopefully check out those hammer pegs for his red cane.
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
But as we've talked about, Ice Palace is still wide open for both our runners to check. So we'll see if he does get his red cane, where he decides to go next. I feel like if he feels he's behind at this point, he's probably going to go to Ice. But if he feels like he's close, he's going to make the T-Rock play.
Yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised to see him go to T-Rock as well, just for the value that he can have. Oh, Gem is getting trolled here a little bit. Okay, so Ben is picking up his cane while Gem finds his third medallion. Gem, being the bold man that he is, decides not to use his powder to powder any anti-fairies, just goes in here with 5 hearts. Shouldn't be a problem for runners of this caliber, but you know, I'm always a little bit clenched when it comes to lower heart fights on Trinex.
Yeah, I can sense that he's a little worried about his health situation though, because he didn't go for the behind the back Trinex, but he's gonna one cycle him anyways.
And down he goes, gonna grab at least a green pendant. Let's see if there's any important items on Trinex himself.
Meanwhile, Benteezy is making the play to T-Rock, but we know there's only Ether here, plus the green pendant. What is in that green pendant? Or what is Stash going to give for that green pendant? It's almost like Hashroll is just going to break it open in front of Link and say, ha, fooled you, the item was in here this whole time.
I'm kind of curious to see what Gem does, because I think if he goes and checks that green pendant immediately, he might be kind of, you know, looking to maybe enter Eastern Palace.
100%.
Which we know is a little bit of a waste of time.
So he's going to cash in that green pendant, and then he's going to do Eastern Pod combo guaranteed.
Yeah. So that is going to give Ben some time to catch up. And thankfully for Gem, oh well, that's just a red rupee from the green pendant, so Sasrella holding absolutely nothing. And what I was going to say is that thankfully for Gem, Pod will be ball-locked immediately, and sadly he will only grab the cape from Eastern Palace, so Ice Palace must be the next play.
Has to be at this point, and of course Benteezy has checked Eastern Palace and Pod as well. So this is going to give Ben what he needs to kind of catch up here.
Yeah, with the whole warping back and forth and having to go through all of Eastern, this might come out quite even for both these guys.
Right, and Gem will have boots for both dungeons here, so he is going to kind of be a little bit ahead with the travel time there, but still, definitely going to be good for Benteezy's side. Oh, chat's already calling Bowman in Mimic Cave.
They've been saying that earlier. That's just rude.
The ultimate troll.
That is just rude.
Yeah, I can't see I've ever experienced that situation, nor do I ever want to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think any runner ever wants to have that. Oh, and as Sandslice is pointing out in chat, Gem, the hater of the left side of Swamp, might find just what he needs on that left side of Swamp.
Like, I mean, if he hates it, and he usually does, I think he will full clear Swamp this time, for sure, just because he's getting so low on progression. But that he has to run into the mirror first for that, of course, to happen.
Yeah, of course. Without the mirror, you're not going to enter Swamp.
Alright, so Gem not setting up any kind of Death Warp there in Eastern. I think he's going to say no to Pod and yes to Ice Palace at this point.
Yep, definitely looks like it.
Almost looked like he was thinking about Zora there too and just said, nah.
Yeah, I think at this point Gem is probably thinking, alright, if something super important is at Zora, I'll just have to live with the fact that I already lost this race.
That is a very veteran read, actually, putting it that way.
I mean, he's been up there, he saw that it only has the blue boomerang on the ledge, and he's already made his way all the way through Pendant Turtle Rock. He's now making his way through Pendant Ice Palace. He's probably just settled with the fact that if Zora has anything super important, he's probably already way behind. And it looks like Ben might be having some trouble here.
Uh-oh.
We'll keep you guys updated as soon as we find out what the problem is. So far, we haven't gotten any news yet.
Oh, here's that quick bomb jump I was talking about with Gem.
Oh yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Alright, and we have signs of life from Benteezy. He's back in the race.
Yeah, might have just been a quick bathroom break.
Yeah, just to clarify for chat, his stream did not freeze. He was indeed idle for that time.
Oh, and Gem getting trolled here by the jelly. Drop down to get the iframes to hookshot over without taking damage, and then getting his hookshot blocked by the jellies.
Meanwhile, Benteezy having no problems at all with that laser skip. Great job. Like we've said time and time again in this race, a lot of smooth tech shown by these runners. Just shows how skilled they really are.
Yeah, these guys are really absolutely top-notch players, and if they haven't proven it to you yet, I'm not sure what can convince you. And there is the bow for Gem.
Here's the boat.
And is that go mode?
Nope, we're still looking for the flute.
Oh yeah, of course, the flute for Meyer. Ugh, I always forget that.
So at this point, we can pretty much determine, unless it's found here, we're going to find that flute in Pod.
Let's hope so.
Because we did find all 3 items in Eastern. They do have to finish it, but that's going to be pretty smooth. Unless, of course, the bow leads to Mirror. So I probably shouldn't jump the gun and just say it's going to be the flute, but I guess we're all hoping, really. No one wants to go in a swamp.
The biggest troll here would be the Mirror. And another beautiful bomb jump from Gem here.
Yeah, so the bow in, what was it, Mimic Cave is out, but the flute in Mimic Cave is now very alive.
Don't encourage these guys.
The greatest troll ever told.
So Ben just clearing up a couple more overworld spots is going to turn in his mushroom now, while Gem is making his way to Cold Stare. With the bombos in hand, he's in pretty good shape, I'd say.
Absolutely, should be no problem. He's actually just going to elect to use the Fire Rod, save a little bit more time.
Yeah, with the Tempered Sword in hand, I really don't blame him.
Wait for this setup, by the way.
Look at this.
Oh, he got iced.
Getting trolled by those RNG ice cubes falling from the ceiling.
Yeah,
Still.
you can actually dash to keep the 3 Cold Stare eyeballs in check. And there's the flute.
Oh my god. We got go mode. So this was a super stacked ice palace here.
Yeah, so we don't know if T-Rock is required yet. We don't know what the medallion requirement is of Meyer. It doesn't really matter at this point. Very arbitrary because both our players have all 3 medallions.
Yeah, and if it turns out that Meyer does not require Ether, their dip into T-Rock was basically a huge waste of time.
Appears that Gem is showing his appreciation for Swag Duck.
Yes, everyone please rise for the Swag Duck anthem.
Remove your hats.
And now Ben making the play that he needs to make. Going right into Ice Palace. I mean, he really doesn't have any other choice at this point, but alright, here we go. Probably not even gonna check the Meyer Shed.
Yeah, it was Bombo, so T-Rock wasn't even required, so that's the story of this race.
Yep, a full clear T-Rock that was absolutely not required.
And like we've discussed earlier, T-Rock at the time, I mean, statistically speaking, great play. Whereas Ice only having 3 items being a regular puny blue pendant, probably gonna shy away from that almost every time unless you feel really behind in the race.
Yeah, who expects the 2 items that you still need to be in a dungeon that can only hold 3 items, and a pendant dungeon no less? So let's see, do we get the Godmire here? Probably not if you can go mode it, right? Wait, is Gem not checking the chest up there? Okay.
He is now.
Jeez, Gem, come on, don't scare me like that.
Maybe he just wanted to do the ACMLM and hookshot across with the key in hand.
Okay, just a small key. Uh-oh, a gem. Okay, you still got a blue potion.
Gem, please.
He's making this Mire as exciting as you can make Mire, I guess. Oh, and he decides to not waste all this time checking the vanilla big key location. Might come back to haunt him, but he still's got a couple of stuff left to check here. Oh, one more chest, I guess.
Right, and with Benteezy short to be in go mode as well, not significantly behind, we still have Ganon routing and shenanigans that could be at play there.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over. And with the routing that Gem Joe's here, if Ben does decide to go with a vanilla big key location first, he'll save a little bit of time himself. So Ben has picked up his bow, still looking for the other items in here. We'll soon find out the Cold Stare will be holding the last one, and what an item it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think the words "Are you kidding me?" might be uttered.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance. It might even be a little less friendly than that.
That's why I was just leaving it at that.
A little less PG, you could say.
Just a little bit.
Only slightly. There's never any cursing from Ben, ever.
So yeah, vanilla big key in Mire, Gem's gonna be happy to find that. Setting up for that nice swag dash. Very nice to execute by Gem. Meanwhile, it looks like Ben is going to elect to set up for the bomb bow strat with the fire rod. Gonna allow him to get a quick kill here once the eyeballs start moving away. Actually doesn't even need the fire rod. Wow, very nice fight.
That's beautiful. Grabs his flute and his blue pendant. And here we see a Vitreous with silver arrows. Absolutely a joy.
As we can see, Gem was practicing in the shooting gallery before this match because that was pretty much as perfect as it's going to get. Very nice fight. Meanwhile, Benteezy very relieved to be in go mode now, dashing his way to activate his flute.
And you know what? That shooting gallery has my favorite NPC in the whole game, and we never see it in Rando.
Oh, the Skullman drummer?
Yeah, that guy can hit a drum like nobody's business. Alright, so Gem probably kind of wishing he had the mirror here to do the quick pod and EP combo, but looks like Ben is opting to do Eastern Palace and maybe pod afterwards first before dipping into Mire.
Right, the decision is pretty arbitrary at this point. Maybe he's hoping to run into Mirror at the same time so he can save a little bit of time on Meyer, but other than that, it really doesn't matter at this point with both of them being in go mode.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you're in go mode, you can pretty much pick and choose which dungeons you want to do when. As long as you're getting those crystals, it doesn't really matter.
Yo! Okay, that was sick. I've actually never seen that before.
That was crazy. I don't even know what to say.
So, to kind of explain what happened there is Gem basically gamed the Stealthos room next level with rando strats involved. So normally you'd use pots because you wouldn't have the bow at the time in NMG. So Gem knows he has the bow, so he just used that to kind of speed up the process.
And we're almost in sync here. Of course, Ben's still a Meyer clear short, but
So if the viewers are trying to wrap their heads around time-wise, how much time he's behind by, 3.5 minutes is probably a safe bet.
yeah, sounds about right. Depending on his Meyer routing, he might also check the vanilla big key location last, so it might maybe be a little bit more than that.
Very well could be.
I'm really bad at, guessing time, so you're probably much closer than I would ever be. But I think what we were trying to say is that even though Gem is in the lead right now, it's absolutely not an insurmountable lead for Ben to come back from.
Right, and like even though he is one crystal dungeon ahead, being Meyer, being kind of a lengthier dungeon, like I said, it's anyone's race still at this point. Gem still having a very strong lead, though. We do want to stress that.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though Ben was only able to check this one chest here before, it's still gonna save him some time in pod since they're both still mirrorless, so Gem has to walk all the way back here.
Yeah, it does appear Benteezy is playing the odds and is rushing right for those first two chests, putting him closer to Helmsor.
And all they're looking for here is a big key and a small key.
We might even see a hammer jump coming up.
Yeah, we saw Ben practicing that on the practice run earlier before the race started, and he seems to be very well versed in that.
Actually, very nice decision making too, as well. Electing to bonk across, catching the chest, and then coming up for the hammer jump. Very nicely done.
Oh, Ben in a little bit of yeah, he's ooh. That was kind of close with the falling bridge. Unfortunate for him, sadly.
And Gem, equally impressive, does the same route. Very nice.
Oh, and there's Butter Sword. And still no big key inside here. This pod is really making these guys full clear, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be actually in the front of pod too, that they've both elected to skip right now.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. Ben going for another bump, or hammer jump here.
Nicely done.
Yeah, very nicely done. Gets it this time.
Not nicely is the fact that that big key is right at the north. Unfortunate there, but he does grab it just a little bit behind Gem at this point.
Yeah, not a huge time difference between these guys, at least what this dungeon is concerned. Getting another beautiful bonk back from Gem here. Probably going to see the same from Ben. And Gem really wants those sword beams. So, I was talking about this earlier, but just to reiterate, it seems like all the routing choices that Gem made this seed have really turned out well for him. He didn't check into Eastern Palace early, he decided to completely skip out on Zora, and he really never missed out on anything super important.
Even more impressive to me was just the patience, not going to Eastern and pod early on, kind of just sticking to his guns in a more efficient routing style.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really, really great to see. So Gem just a couple of hammers ahead here. 2 slashes from the Butter Sword takes Helmasaur down.
So I think the only things that Gem hasn't checked that Benteezy has is Quakefish and Zora.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, you know what that means. It is time to get your guesses in chat. Gem has completed his 7 crystal dungeons. He's heading on towards Ganon's Tower. Here's a little game we like to play. Pick a number between 1 and 22. Into where the big key will be in Ganon's Tower.
Yes, and if you want to participate in a little guessing game that has a leaderboard that Fiesel set up for us, please keep in mind that only numbers will work, so if you want to guess Bob chests, figure out which number that will be in your preferred routing. And you also must be a subscriber of any of the speed gaming channels, or you must have tipped a total of 250 bits across all of them. Do you have a number that you usually guess?
I'm going to go with 12 this time.
Alright. I went with my usual 8, even though our tracker stole it from me. Alright, so Gem opening up Ganon's tower while Benteezy is gonna go grab his last crystal. Is still on his search for the big key in here.
Funny enough, we still haven't ran into the mirror.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, with the Swamp Palace being a pendant, it might be that we never even see the mirror of the seed. And we'll have to see if they pick it up here in GT somewhere. Alright, so we don't get a small key on the right side for a change. It seems like that's usually the case, so no right side play so far.
Alright, so that's chest number 7 so far. Let's see if Gem, yet he is going to elect to do full left side here.
Alright, it was number 8. No, I don't care that our tracker stole my number.
That's actually the chest I usually pick, is the fire bar room.
Yeah, me too. I mean, depending on how they route, obviously. With how many right side plays we see lately, my number 8 has kind of moved somewhere else. Oh, there's the red mail. Just in case they needed even more stuff other than the butter sword and silver arrows.
There's the frustration bomb right there for it.
Meanwhile, Benteezy about to grab his big key finally. Probably not going to be happy about that location.
Well, I'm out now too. So we're up to chest number 14. Still no big key.
Oh yeah, and I completely forgot about the riot shield. Of course, that was the last item that they could still get. Man, that bonk. I don't think I've ever gotten that. And Gem just walks up there, doesn't even hesitate a second, and just bonks right over the teleporter. Alright, time for ice armos.
There's a big key.
There we have it.
That was 19, I'll say.
Ah, that can't have been 19. We still got a whole right side to check.
Then I'm terrible at math.
I think it was like 16?
Yeah, that was an excellent play by Gem, checking that big key chest for the small key there.
Yep.
Because no mirror, so he has to kind of route vanilla style, and why not? Now he doesn't have to bother with the mini heal store.
Yeah, that worked out real nicely for him. Meanwhile, Benteezy grabbing his last crystal is going to make his way up to Ganon's tower himself now, so he's basically a search for the big key and I guess his way up to GT behind at the moment. I'm curious to see if Ben decides to gamble on the right side with no right side key but one on the torch.
He might elect to do a modified Dark Magician route, which is basically get the 2 right chests and then go to the hookshot stealth house room and then go back. But without a mirror, I don't really see him doing that. He'll have to be feeling really desperate at that point, I would say.
Yeah, with the mirror still missing, it's definitely a big risk. There's a lot of walking involved. So Gem now entering his land mode 2 fight. I love this setup, he does it every time. Sadly, doesn't quite get the 0 cycle or the 1 cycle.
I was going to say, I hope the shooting gallery's Skullman is not watching this one. But he gets the 3rd Lamos there.
Alright, so Gem finishing up his land mode 2, while Ben is entering Ganon's tower. He's opting to go straight for the left side, which will work out quite nicely for him. If he opts to completely go left side and not turn back to the right side anytime soon.
Yeah, if he did elect to boot on over to the right side after this room, that'd be a very huge risk. And that's what he's going to do.
And he is indeed going back to the right side. I mean, if he goes full right side, he can get to Ice Armos reasonably quickly, I guess. So it's not too awful. Oh yeah, and this file just pointing out he could still find a mirror here, so it might be even quicker.
I think that's actually going to be really bad for him, because he might mirror out and commit to the left side.
Oh yeah, that's very true. Just a couple bombs here in the last chest before Aga 2. Oh, and there's half magic. That's a very nice find.
Okay, so not finding the mirror there is definitely going to keep him on the right path.
Yeah, he's not going to walk all the way back here. Alright, Aga 2 time looks like a pretty nice setup for at least a double.
Really nice dash across by Benteezy, not even worrying about that track room.
Gem having a little trouble here with Aga 2. Not getting the greatest of setups, but gets him down.
I mean, if his Aga 1 was any indication of how annoying it was going to be, there's Aga 2 for you.
Very true. Alright, so Ben about to drop into the Ice Armos find and gonna grab his big key. While Gem is now at pretty exactly 1 hour and 15 minutes dropping into Ganon's hole.
And Ganon indicating he is some form of relative or thing relation to you. Yeah.
And as we can see with a butter sword here, really no trouble at all. Did indeed find the silver arrows, good Ganon. Oh, barely misses the torch glitch. I think he should be okay, but he needs to be a little careful on the magic here.
Oh, he'll be just fine.
Oh, perfectly done.
Yeah, it's set up for the double/triple there, and gem will be done very shortly here, barring a disaster on the bridge.
And there he goes. GG to Gem, and of course congrats as well, finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour 51:31.
Awesome match. Awesome match. All things considered, like, it's closer, I think, than people realize. And in a seed like this, where it kind of forces your hand a lot, small decisions can really play a big role in how you finish. And that was the case this race.
Absolutely. And even though Benteezy might have lost it, absolutely still an amazing runner. You've seen how well he's executed many things. The only difference really being that his routing didn't quite pay off as he hoped. And as you were saying earlier, a lot closer than people probably expected. Alright, and it looks like Gem is around. I'm gonna drag him in here real quick.
I felt really bad after that.
Sorry, Gem. Didn't mean to drag you out of a conversation there, but GG and congrats on your win.
Yeah, thanks.
GG.
How are you feeling after this one?
I feel incredibly relieved right now.
Yeah, that's a big win.
After clearing T-Rock for nothing, I was just in full panic mode. But I guess he also went there.
He certainly did, yeah. And really, we were just talking, the only difference was that you stuck to your guns and did not dip into Eastern and did not dip into Pot, which is what he did. And I think that was really the only quote-unquote time loss he had over you.
Well, eventually I did go into Eastern, but I had boots and a lot of things that made it faster, I guess.
Right. Yeah, he went in there right after checking Sahasrar's hut, and he also went into Pod relatively early, which thankfully for him was immediately bow locked, so he didn't get very far, but it still cost him a little bit of time.
Yeah, I imagine.
But yeah, I mean, great race. The seed was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't trolly, I don't think. It was just kind of weird how it railroaded you into where you should be going, I guess.
Yeah, it was really linear until there was that big 50-50 between going into T-Rock or Ice. And yeah, I guess we both made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020 there, though. Like, universally, from both me and Herf and the entire chat was saying T-Rock was the play, so...
Yeah, it made sense because it was 6 items between against 3. And of course, both items that were left ended up in Ice. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So Benteezy not reading the warnings on that chest, no flames near explosives, picks up his 3 bombs in the validation chest.
Yep, now making his way up to his Aga 2 fight. The only thing you missed out on the right side, Gem, was half magic, which Benteezy picked up.
Oh, did he do Dark Magician?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
I was thinking about it, but...
Yeah, without the mirror, it's just kind of annoying.
yeah, I would have had to go all the way to Armors. then if the big key hadn't been there, I would have had to go like to random room potentially and suiciding there to get back to the entrance. It's a hassle.
Yeah, it's quite a big risk to take. Thankfully for Ben and you as well, I guess, Big Key was behind Ice Armo, so he didn't really lose a whole lot of time.
Yeah. And we got to open the big chest, which is always nice.
Yep, very true. And that small key really worked out for you. You didn't even have to bother with any of the mini Helmosaurs or anything. You could just go straight through.
Yeah, the key was probably the best thing that could have been in there. Except maybe Mirror, that would have probably saved more time, but yeah.
I mean, at that point, I'm not even really sure if Mira would have saved that much time.
Oh, it's maybe 5 seconds.
Yeah, something like that, probably. Alright, so now Ben making his way into the Ganon fight, or already on phase 2. Probably already on phase 3. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there isn't really much trolly things or anything to talk about the seed. Do you have any other things you want to get off your chest, or anything that really bothered you, maybe?
Yes, the item menu.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that. Was it a bad menu?
Well, it was alright, but the big thing was that we had neither the Cane of Burner nor a Boomerang, so switching from Hookshot to Somaria was annoying.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah,
It got
that's
me
the
a few
worst.
things.
Man, and Ben is making it exciting here, down to half a heart.
He's got balls.
Definitely does. He's also got a blue potion, so he's just sticking to his guns.
Yeah, he's fine.
There we go. Alright, so GG to Ben, finishing off with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 57 and 45 seconds. Let's see if he also wants to come in for an interview. Oh, he's already in chat, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask him right there.
Hello.
Hello, Ben. GG.
Sorry, I
Ben,
let
GG.
myself in.
Oh, that's
Hopefully
fine.
I'm not interrupting.
No, I was just gonna ask you on RC if you wanted to come in for an interview, so
Security.
basically escort this man out. Well, I mean,
Did Jem do
we could-
TR? Oh, I guess
Yeah.
you're in
Yes.
here.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did.
Hello, Ben. GG.
Did Jem take a bathroom break?
Event.
Oh, that's so that's what that was. I was just gonna
I was
ask
ho-
you
I
on
was
RC
holding
if you
it
wanted to come
for
in
like
for an interview,
40
so-
minutes.
Security.
And it was like, I started getting a pain in my
Escort
abdomen.
this
I was like,
man out.
I just can't take this anymore.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's probably a good choice there.
I don't know where the 6 minutes came from then. Aside from just me being like super thorough.
The
Super
6 minute,
thorough.
yeah, super thorough. I think the 6 minutes, well, probably not all of them, but they came from you checking pod and EP, while Jem just kind of ignored them for as long as he could.
Oh,
That's really the only big difference that I can think of off the top of my head. Other than that, you guys routed pretty similarly. No thanks to how the seed railroaded you into where you have to go, kind of.
yeah. I don't know. After Skull, I was like, I can do Ice or TR if the cane is on Death Mountain. Then I went to Death Mountain, I didn't get the cane. And then I went down and I found the cane, and I was like, okay, well, TR is still mathematically the better play. And since I'm missing 2 items, like, what's the likelihood that they're both in the 3-item Ice Palace? And of course, that's where they were. So I'm pretty sure Flute was last possible check for me. I don't think there was anything else. Well, I guess technically I had just found the bow, so it could have been in pod.
Right.
But other than that, it's literally last check. It's
I
kind of
skipped-
frustrating.
I skipped Catfish and Zora. And Pod, I guess. So I said those left.
Oh, I skipped purple chest actually.
Oh yeah, that too. Screw
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's right. You guys both did miss that.
Yeah, I was worried that it would be there instead of Ice Palace and that I was wasting time, but it didn't come to that. Yeah, once I saw that Meyer was Ether, I was like, unless Jem killed himself on Cold Stare or something, there's no way I'm winning this. Because at that point I had 100% of the game. Missing that hammer jump in pod lost me like a minute and a half because I checked the other basement and the spike statue room for no reason.
Yeah, I did that too. Probably should have
Alright.
just hammer jumped. Actually, would have been a better route.
Yeah, because no mirror. So you hammer jump,
Yeah.
check the 2 dark chests, and then if it's not there, you just cut across to the right.
Yeah. Alright.
But I failed it, so I just went to the right first.
So how'd you feel about that Agnum one?
I kind of expected it as soon as I found Cape and Eastern.
Yeah.
I was
I
actually
expected
referring
that
to
so
the 7 blue balls.
far. Oh. Yeah. Screw that.
Yeah.
I was so worried hammer or something might be an Eastern. And then losing so much time to the blue balls would have been bad.
It could have been pretty bad for you, Jem, if you hadn't found that Master Sword up on in the Waterfall of Wishing. Because the cave was obviously in Eastern, as you found out later on, so that might have been the only way into Agawon.
Yeah, but well, then I would have had to go to Eastern, so yeah, I guess it would have been like a minute time loss too.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you would have had to go either up there or to Eastern, so it wouldn't have been a huge time loss, but it kind of worked out. You went in there with the Master Sword, and Ben went in there with the Master Sword and the Cape, even though he checked out the Waterfall of Wishing a little bit later, I believe.
And Zora. 'Cause I routed to have exactly 500 rupees when I got there.
Yeah, Zora had me worried as well, but I was just so far away from getting that money, so I just went there without.
Yeah, I don't think these type of seeds are very favoring to my playstyle. Like no mirror, no flute, and then like when you're trying to be thorough and you don't have the means to do it conveniently, like you spend a lot of time running back and forth, like trying to get everything. I don't know. I don't regret anything that I did in this race. I would lose it again 10 out of 10. Except for the bathroom break. I'd go to the bathroom before the race next time.
Yeah, I think everybody has to learn that at one point.
I mean, we were kind of thankful that it turned out to only be a bathroom break, because I was getting a little worried that maybe your controller stopped working or something disastrous like that.
Yeah, I was like at that point, like I was making a lot of execution mistakes. Like once I failed to kill every single Pokey in TR with a double spin, and I was like, this is getting too distracting. Like I have to just go use the bathroom because like I can't take it. Like I'm not executing well now because it's so distracting. I mean that was practically a minute right there, like failing to double spin every single Pokey. The one before Chomps, the one with the small key, the ones in the double Pokey room. Like literally having to chase down the heads takes like 15 seconds each. It's a minute difference right there.
Yeah, that
So,
sucks.
yeah.
All right, well,
But
guys.
I think that was a good game. Good game, Jim. Well played.
Yeah, GG man.
Yeah, GG to you guys again. We're kind of holding up the next race, which was supposed to start 15 minutes ago, so I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah, no
I've
problem.
already got everyone waiting for us to get out of here, so thanks again to you guys. You, as we were saying during the race, it was an absolute pleasure watching you both. Even though, Ben, you might not be too happy about your execution or whatever, but it was still absolutely great.
I think it's
to
only
watch
like
you.
at the end, like right before the bathroom break, like that last like 10 minutes. I think I played well the rest of the time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not too
absolutely
mad
did.
at myself for this. Like I said, I think I do everything the same, 10 of 10. Just
All right.
you can't win every randomizer race with your strategies. Like
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
strategy is 100% guaranteed, and this one just didn't play to my strengths, so it's cool.
And I mean, you're at 1-1 now, which is not bad at all. You're still definitely in it for sure. And I'm sure with your execution and your skill, you'll have no trouble grabbing some more wins on the way.
Well,
And-
it's randomizer, so I'm not going to discount any of my opponents. They were one of them went 4-2 last round, and the other one is 3-3 and made it in through the qualifiers. So they're both good runners.
That's very true.
But thanks for having us, guys. Thanks, Fiesel. Thanks, Herfy. Thanks, Solsky. I'll catch you
Anytime.
guys in the next one. If
Have a
anyone's
good one.
interested, my next race is on Saturday. It'll probably be on one of the Speed Gamings. Saturday night Eastern, I believe, like 9 p.m. or something like that. Alright, guys. I'll catch you guys later.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah, so if you've enjoyed what you've seen from both of these guys, which really, how could you not have? Please make sure to throw them a follow. And as they were saying, thank you to everyone involved. Thank you to the Dude for tracking for us. Thank you to Fiesel for the restream. Thank you all for showing up. And of course, last but not least, thank you very much, Solsky, for sticking with me through all of that.
No problem.
And yeah, I think that's going to be it from us. So do you have any last words?
Boots first, please. Every seed.
Okay. I think that's a good one to end it on. So hope you guys have a great night. Please stick around. The next race is going to start up immediately after we've gone. It's going to be Andy versus McLagan. So that's going to be a big one too. Stick around. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.